Well, one thing's for certain, she is in the 5,000 metres and lines up in the... A moment for the early stages. It's really sticky tonight. Rodissa Schwarzer, USA, first installments. She's next to Sarah Chilang. Meters. She's the 7th fastest of all time. Looks somewhat pensive. Camilla Buscombe, she's been a great ambassador. Teferi on the left, second in those trials. Lilian Rengaruk. Rose Davies giving a nice wave for the 5,000 final. Barely a breath of wind, 30 degrees. We had a lot of rain between, and as we so often see, John,
they'll go out. No real need to be in a great hurry. That they need to go faster. You're out there. The other thing, as you mentioned, with no wind, makes leading not quite as taxing as you might normally.
At school now, heading up to the longer distances, and look on the veterans in Olympic history, male or female. If
correct, right up there with through that somehow to get those distances. You got to go twice here, and I think that ultimately becomes
at the moment. Beating Hassan in the Diamond League earlier this season.
As all of them, as the case really with any
the big screen here in Arca. And there is international teams are dotted around the arena. They are allowed around the world who've worked so hard. People will never meet, but without them.
She needs to get her running more smooth on that runway.
Broader towards the front. She's coming up onto the shoulder of Agnes Tirop, and Hassan has got herself, she's right in the centre of your picture there. She's got herself Camille Buscombe of New Zealand trying to hang on to the back of Sifan Hassan, trying to part with ahead of the final. Yasmin Khan in Agnes Tirop looks pretty comfortable in third, and Lilliman in fourth. She's genuinely world class
over the last 4 or 5 1,600 meters. Shut it down, and the it's one of these where they
the leading contenders now on up front with Tirop just behind her and Rengaruk. Conditions are tricky because at this pace you wouldn't expect.
Since gotten married and had a great run at the trials, didn't have the standard, but none of this pushing, none of the shoving, no elbows, none of that.
They're coming back towards the front. And there are still people tripping each other up. 2 lap skips.
The last time around, finished a respectable 9th within that top 5 and get an automatic qualifying berth.
For position. Yasmin Khan has just burst of the 2 Ethiopians, and there Agnes Tirop just had her strong from the world 1,500 meter champion. She's had no. Hassan makes it, so too Tirop. Both Ethiopians as fastest losers pretty much went to the form book.
You'll hope that you can execute that, and you think that's exactly what the talented running. 14:52 previously had been the fastest qualifier.
Sifan Hassan comfortably inside 14:50. Tirop
set for the second heat of the women's 5,000 meters. Another 6, and then next 5 combined with what happened in our first heat to make our. And there's Sagai, who we mentioned, fast, running out at just a crazy pace, but then just never stopped. Former Arkansas Razorback, who's in
meters. She set a fantastic British record of 14:28.
Bot Nozomi Tanaka, Saba, Francine. She is 800, trying to make her mark over 5,000. Round out the field of 19. She made it. 5,000 meters to go. And again, I don't think, especially if they were able to into that final. Recognize her and Blundell, long as she started there on the inside of the rail. Runners circling, everybody just trying to give each other some room, some space, stay away from the jostle.
Tanaka up onto the American really well to make the 5,000, having to step up from the 8.
Blundell
gets there. What an incredible championship performer she's turned out to be.
In the pack, maybe decided that she's, after 5 minutes, she'd hurt Blundell. It's a guy, so certainly some of the names. In the middle, there's no trouble in front. If you don't lose contact, trade off if it's the pace is comfortable, and
A temperature of 30 degrees. Wherever you're watching this, it might not look particularly hot, but it's...
Ian Saba, O'Beary right there. Hogan. Oh.
Wanting to make sure she's got a clean track around. Athlete back in around 6th or 7th, and just watching the brilliant...
Of course, she won't be there. And Diane Van Ness. Listen, if they have really good eyesight, they can see just how far back they are. They have the...
Just less than a mile to go, John, and still a fair number.
Went to college in America and ran a bunch of great times. He was, just to make everybody feel old, the first millennial to win a national title, and she's very much in this race.
Helen O'Beary leading. We've got Gudaf Sege, the 5th. Tanaka up onto her shoulder. Neil
banking that they can find their way over the last.
The Eritrean Rahel Daniel just at the back of that, jostling for position there, and that was Ailish McColgan.
Something, but yeah, her cadence and her stride pattern certainly, by my count, 8 women entering the last through. And Saba will make it. To those 2 women, Sagai and O'Beary, they 55. See Schneider get up there into the
top out of it down the last 50 meters as well, because perhaps if it was just a nudge, she'd attach back onto that group.
Battle Cletti with a very nice race, really smart for a young